Hey y'all, it's Rachel with Nola's Glitter. How are you doing today? Today we have a video for you that is a little different than what we normally put out there, but it's something that I wanted to give a try. Most of you know that I am a lover of everything rainbow, and a lot of you know that I have my very own zebra. So when I start feeling some sort of way and I need like therapeutic crafting or therapeutic creativity, something to get my feelings out and about, I'm often drawn to rainbows and zebra patterns and all of that. So today is going to be that. So I am going to walk you through how I created this tumbler, and hopefully that you can pick up some tips and tricks, or at least you enjoy watching what I create. For this design, I am going to be using my airbrush again, and I'm going to be using alcohol inks as my medium. I'm also going to be using a cool pattern of pantyhose that I found that have the zebra print. So first thing I'm going to do is spray paint my tumbler white after I sand it. You always start with a prepped surface. Here you're going to see me counting the spaces in the rainbow, and I'm just kind of eyeballing where I want my stripes to start and stop. This is totally up to you if you want to. There's no rhyme or reason. There's not an exact science down to this because I didn't like measure with a ruler, but I just kind of eyeballed it. So I could see where all my colors would fit so I could get them all on the tumbler. So of course I'm going to start with the beginning of the rainbow, which is red. I do it this way because, I mean, that's the way the rainbow goes, but also I don't necessarily clean my airbrush between colors. So if I start with red, I can go right into orange and it gives me like that really cool little fade. And then I just go all the way through it. I do change colors a little bit when it comes from, I think, like the yellow to the green, because I really wanted, not change colors, I cleaned out the gun because I really wanted it to have that bright transition. But other than that, it's just adding a few drops. You really don't need that much alcohol ink to lay your colors down. I wanted mine really, really dark, so I sprayed closer to the cup instead of far away, and so that gives it a more concentrated color. But you can definitely get those soft wispy colors if you pull your airbrush gun back away from your project that you're spraying on. But like I said, I really wanted those really deep, deep jewel tone almost rainbow colors on this cup. I am just continuing with the rainbow here. I'm making sure that when I go to the next color, I'll take the new color and sweep it down just a little bit over the edges of the previous color so it blends it in and gives it a nice little blend. I'm not really worried about the straight lines because once you put the next step over the top of it, you're not going to really see that you have more green than you do blue. It's just kind of, I did the little lines just to make sure that I was mindful of where I was putting the paint, so I could make sure that I got all the colors of the rainbow on there. On this step, all I'm doing is taking the empty air gun and spraying air at that alcohol ink just to make sure it's nice and dry before we move on to the next step. This is not necessary, but I find that just to make sure that it's nice and dry before you put on your pantyhose. So these pantyhose I found on Amazon. I'll leave you a link. It came in a pack with like 6 pair, I think, or whatever. And as soon as I seen the zebra, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So you put this on your cup just like you would if you would to wear a pair of pantyhose, I guess. And I leave about an inch at the top or the bottom of my cup because the foot on these tights or pantyhose are kind of opaque, so it leaves like no space for the paint to get through there. So I kind of just pull it up a little bit, make a little man bun, and I give it a little snip snip. So we have a little ponytail thing at the top. So when we put the black paint on top of it, it's going to leave me a cool pattern on the bottom of my cup too. Now I'm going to take my cup off of the chuck and put the remaining pantyhose on the inside. I don't really like to cut pieces off of my my stockings because just in case I have something bigger that I want to work with, like a bigger tumbler or water bottle or something, and in the past I was like, oh yeah, this is good, but then it was too short, so I just stuffed this on the inside of my cup. And it also helps to keep your tights tight on your tumbler, so when you're spray painting, it's not going to move around and cause a lot of ghosting. So here you're just seeing me make sure that I like the way the pattern looks and it's not too stretched out, because if you pull it too tight, it leaves like these woven patterns in between it. So that's why I was just testing it to make sure that it's going to look right. So here I'm using matte black spray paint, and let me just stop and say, danger, danger, danger. Please do not try this at home. I was so wrapped up in my project, I didn't even acknowledge in my brain that I was using spray paint right smack dab in the middle of my craft room. Normally I use a airbrush paint or a black alcohol ink over this part, but I don't know, I just was so deep into thought and wherever I was with this tumbler that I used the spray paint instead. So please be mindful, if you're going to spray paint, take it outside and do it. I promise you'll have better results. So here I am now cutting off my man bun. This cup has been drying for about 30 minutes because it took me that long to clean up the mess that I created on my desk. So the paint is nice and dry, and now we get to see what this beautiful cup is going to look like when we pull these stockings down. Check that out. It's such a cool pattern. Normally when I do one of these alcohol ink cups, I will put a thin coat of epoxy on before I do any decals, but I did not want to stop long enough to put epoxy on, so I went straight ahead and cut into my decals. This is the first time I've ever done an offset and an inset. So if you have Silhouette cutting machine, you know the offset version, but if you do an inset, it creates these little tiny pieces, as you see here, right here with this rainbow piece. So I'll do the inset with this rainbow. I will put it on top of my normal piece of vinyl, which is the black, and then I will put both of those on top of the white offset, and it just gave it a really cool effect that I've never seen before, or I've never done before. So I really thought it was cool, and I learned something, so I thought that was awesome. I did the same with the Think Zebras logo or decal that I put on the other side. This vinyl gave me fits. The black vinyl, for some reason, was one of those hard vinyls that wouldn't come off of the backing no matter how hard I tried or how many times I cut it, and it was like wrestling alligators, I'm telling you, to get it off. So that's why it took so long. So we're gonna fast forward through this. I don't know, that black holographic, I even cut it twice, but it just didn't want to come from the background, the backing, and it just really it made me less zen than I started. Now it's time to finish this beautiful cup up with a thin coat of Mr. Nola's Glitter Glass Coat Epoxy. It is our own brand of epoxy, and it is smooth as glass when you put it on, and it is so shiny. So I added a little bit of Silver Fox Jr. to my epoxy just to give it a little sparkle. I didn't want to overpower it too much. I wanted it just to be this pattern and for that glittered vinyl to do its thing. So if you have enjoyed watching me, or if you have learned something, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. And if you have not found us on any of our other social media platforms, come give us a check out. Subscribe to our channel, turn the bell on, let us know what you think, and if you try this technique, please shout us out. We'd love to see your results. Until next time, take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.